Hi, welcome to the YouTube channel. This is printmaking and it's reduction or reductive printmaking. So I'm using a soft pencil, a 6B pencil with tracing paper, and I'm going to trace my idea or image, and it can be anything that you want. I'm kind of outlining everything carefully and making sure I press down hard at this point because I really want to make sure I have a lot of the graphite on it. So turn it, flip it onto the linoleum, and then you're going to trace it. So if you want to tape this down, you can. And I'm not pressing down too hard at this point. I'm just covering all of the lines, and it's basically going to make an impression onto the linoleum so I have the same image. And what I like about this is it actually reverses it and brings it back to the original when you print it. Kind of cool. It transfers it. Alright, so you're going to take a wood block stop. I like having this, and you're going to take some linoleum cutters. They have multiple blades, as you can see, and they're numbered. And then you're going to unscrew it here, and then right here you can lift it up and wiggle it between these two and then screw it back in. So you can change the blade whenever you want to. And yeah, and here you can put all of your blades so they're nice and tidy. Great, so let's go ahead and carve. I recommend outlining it first, and you're going to turn the block as needed. You're going to see me actually carve and turn. And yes, please carve away from your beautiful fingers. You do not want to hurt yourself because this can actually really hurt if you carve into yourself. So I'm turning it, and I am getting rid of the shavings as I go. So there I have it. Like, see how I'm just constantly turning it while I still have the blade on the linoleum. This is easy cut. It is a very easy cut linoleum. It's very, very soft. I like it. But there's different types of linoleum that you can have. Some can be super, super hard. So take your time. This is going to be quite the process of carving everything out. I've sped everything up, etc. Alright, so clean everything. This is a brayer, and on the other side is called the guard. And when you're not using it, you leave it on the guard. This is some water-soluble ink. It comes in different kinds of companies and packages. Alright, so you're going to ink it up. So you're going to take the brayer and you're going to lightly tap on the reserve of your ink. And you're going to go one way, and then you're going to go the other way, and you're going to slowly ink it up. So you have a nice clean layer on your brayer. So this takes time. And the next thing, this part takes time. The first time you've inked it up, it's going to take some time. You're going to rotate or turn the block so you can get everything. And yeah, this just take your time the first time you ink it up. The first layer is a little bit more tricky. Great. So once you're ready, put the brayer on its guard, just like that, and clean your area. Make sure your fingers are clean. And then you're going to take a piece of paper and you're going to place it on the paper where you want to center it. Take a clean brayer and press it down. Now, if you have a printing press, that's even better, right? I don't. So carefully lift that up, and there you have your first print. So I recommend making at least 10. And once you're done with it, put it away. Make sure your name is on it with a pencil on the right side, and that's where you sign your prints. So, or bottom right side. Great. So I'm showing you, I'm going to ink up about 10, put them to the side, and now I'm going to take the tracing paper, go back over my image, and I'm going to color in, fill in where I want to keep it white. So printmaking is counterintuitive in my opinion. So I'm going to carve out where I want to keep it white, and that's where the ink was. So the ink will not be able to get on that. So I'm going to flip it, and then I'm going to just kind of rub it on basically where I drew the graphite. So I'm impressing or transferring the graphite onto the linoleum. So that helps, but I'm also going to look at the picture too, just to remind myself, where do I want it to remain the white ink, the first ink that I did. So carve, 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 and I'm using kind of a narrow blade at this point. I think it's helpful because I want it pretty much refined. And again, take your time, remove the shavings as needed. They will build up, and turn your block. Yeah, just look at the picture, and you know, you're gonna find different things that work for you as you practice or use linoleum. Great. So after I finish doing this, you're going to see how much I carved out. And I'm going to just keep checking it too, because I'm trying to carve away the graphite. I'm going to ink it up using the Burnt Sienna. So I didn't really wait. And I think the Burnt Sienna did not transfer onto my print because I covered everything. And then when I put it on the white, I think it lifted it up and merged. So this is one of my prints, and I think it's best to wait a full day for it to dry. I'm placing it exactly on it, and then when I lifted it up, this one transferred okay, but some of them did not, and I'm just kind of warning you that that's what happened. Or it could have just been old ink. But since I didn't wait for it to dry, some of the Burnt Sienna did not really transfer onto my print as much as I thought it would. But I like to work with what I get. Great, so what I'm going to do is clean everything, and yeah, I'm going to cover up 9 of my prints and leave one because I like to kind of have a memory of my first layer. So this one I kept black and white. Great, so everything's cleaned up, and now I want to carve away pretty much all of the raccoon except for where it's black. So I'm going to be carving out most of my raccoon, and I want my next layer to be black, and I'm crisscrossing it too because sometimes those ridges will get some ink on it. So I'm really carving away, and this is a pretty thick block, which is helpful. And if you notice, I had actually used the other side, and that didn't seem to matter, but you don't want to create a hole. All right, so let's ink it up. Take your time and then cover your block and keep it clean before you take your piece of paper. This time I was very happy with how it looked even before I printed it, and everything's fully dry. Using the brayer to press it on, but if you have a printing press, obviously use it instead. And I liked it. And then I thought, oh, I love this so much, I'm just going to make some other series of prints. And I think that's a great way of approaching printmaking is embrace it, embrace the flow and work it with it and see where it takes you, because sometimes it is a surprise. Okay, now I want to do my last ink, which is going to be green. So I'm going to carve out the entire raccoon because I don't want the raccoon to have any green on it. I'm going to ink it up, so this is just the background, and yeah, you just carved everything away. It's pretty counterintuitive again. And then I'm going to place it on, and here it is. I think it looks great. I'm so proud of myself. Yeah, go with the flow and enjoy this process. So I recommend having your plate below everything as you really clean your linoleum between each inking. And then you're going to really clean your brayer, even the corners and the edges of it, because it can build up. And then as I really scrub-a-dub-dub with my brayer, the plate is getting cleaned too. So thank you so much for tuning in, liking, and subscribing to my YouTube channel.